up to speed, up to speed, up to speed.
Live from the apocalypse, the video games learn their violence from us. This is State of the Game. Thank you for being here. My name is Dan O, and I don't crash out in public. It's not what I do. It's not what I do. I think I attribute it to being Jewish. You know what I mean?
Private crash outs.
You try and crash out in the middle of the grocery store with my grandmother. She'll pinch you in ways you never thought could hurt that bad. So I was like, it was not going to happen, you know? And we didn't even go too crazy in synagogue. Like you clap along, you keep your set. So I keep it solid. You'll never see me crashing out. Socials, anywhere. It's not happening. That's just who I am. But my co-host joining me every week will take your will to live in Settlers of Catan. This is K Diggy. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, man.
Yep. And we have Filthe Records All-Stars here. This is good shit. It's that Chicago shit. I was putting on the video, watching videos with the boy, and he was like, we got to go back to Chicago.
Yeah.
We were looking at the black and white buildings, and it was just had us reminiscent. So, yeah, one of my favorite flows in rap. Like, I swear to God, Kay, release week Friday would come out, and I'd be texting people privately. I'd rather listen to SolarFive than this shit, bro. And so I'm always excited when we get new SolarFive. The King of Lucy's. SolarFive Lucy songs are the shit. Bonus track, all that shit. You grab all the individual tracks. They're
Facts.
So, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. But we also have, the Swizz Beats of the Filthe Records sound. Custom made. It's producing everybody's stuff, man.
Oh man, I actually change up my drum pattern though. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. You know, appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, man. Like, Solar did his thing. This is, our second album together. So yeah, like, I'm glad that you enjoyed it, and hope anyone else that's tuning in gets to check it out and give us feedback and dig the vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is the second that you've done together. Paved with Good Intentions was the first.
Yeah.
What was the process of Paved with Good Intentions like? In terms of building to where we are now.
I think the backstory should be, well, not that it should be, but what it was, shout out to the CEO of Filthe, Decay, aka Daryl. He was already fucking with Q, and he had already worked with him on previous projects they had put out. And he introduced me to him, and, we just talked, and this was all like during COVID. So like nobody was really going out and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So, I heard what Q was doing, and I'm like, yo, this is dope. I go, hopefully, I have something for him. And he's not a difficult person to work with. Like I was talking about earlier, like he's just, he makes beats. He doesn't need beats. So, it was just dope that he was able to work with me.
I need beats. I need beats.
Man, shut up, man. After you play some of the stuff you showed me, I'm just like, why am I even here? Like, but for real though, like, Q is super talented. He could rap over anything. And I was like, there wasn't really like a crazy creative process aside for me doing me, him doing him. And then we got paved, with paved with good intentions. Like we got a dope ass album. So I felt like it was super effortless and like just very easy. And I just provided a canvas, and, I threw in some stuff that I really wanted him to rap on, but then I also gave him a range when I sent him a batch of beats. And, yeah, man, it came out dope. So that's basically the process, how it's been. Like I don't think I have to try too hard to like impress him. Like he likes what he likes, he does what he does, and he killed it. So, and then, this recent album shows like growth and shows even more versatility, I think, on my part and his part. So here we are, but
Yeah.
it's been brewing since COVID. And the only thing that we still have to do is actually sit together in the same room. Other
Yep.
than that, it's just been text messages, phone calls, social media, like, business as usual. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so superpower wise, right? Because Solar, to talk to you about this, superpower wise, like what do you see as Custom's power? What do you see as the what he brings to the table?
Um, Good question. I think for me, it's the versatility in the beats, the different styles of beats. I'm not just gonna get one style of beat from Custom in that pack. And most of the time I want every last freaking beat in the
Right,
pack.
right.
I want to rap on it, but then I have to figure out what fits the mood of the project too. Um Superpower, yeah, definitely that versatility. Like it's crazy. It's crazy some of the shit he sent me. Man, some of the shit I couldn't get to.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you.
If I was gonna get fancy with it to describe Custom, right? Because I'm always framing shit in my head, like doing your liner notes in my head. Um, I think there's an ugly radiance to Custom's beats because custom sound is so clean, you can hear everything, right? But the shit knocks and it's nasty.
Mhm.
So you're sitting there like with screw face, but you're like, this is so pretty. Like it has all of that. Um,
Mhm.
and so there's very few people can give you a tough song that's as radiant as Custom. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And so Custom, talk to me. What do you think superpower wise? What do you think Solar brings to this?
Well, I think the dope thing, like, I hope that when people listen to the music, I think, they hear his life because, it's a lot of struggle, pain, things that I could relate to. Me and, we don't really talk too much about our personal shit, but like, um, when you listen to the words, uh, he can actually put you in a place where it makes you kind of think and question, like, yo, am I going about this shit the right way? And I feel like when he tells his story, it's very relatable, and a lot of people can, tune in and be like, yo, I've been in that situation. I've had similar instances, or I felt that way. And even like with paving good intentions, and don't get coke, please don't get cocaine in the faders. Crazy ass title, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
But if you listen to each song, like, there's a different vibe, there's a different story, and I can tell that he's got a lot on his mind, and and it sounds crazy to say, but I'm glad I'm not the only one going through shit. Like I can kind of like, bond with it and grow with it, and then kind of figure out my own way. So to me, his superpower is being relatable as much as possible, but at the same time being unique without ever having to borrow off of anyone. And to me, that's rare, and I feel like this is why it resonates with a lot of people, especially like, anyone that's been through it or has dealt with any kind of loss or any kind of, damaging, irreparable, like, situation where you have to move on, but man, it still fucks with you. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah, so to me, that's his superpower. Like, it's very, very inclusive in the way where, if you've never heard of him, but then you hear his story, you're gonna be like, oh shit, like I've been there. So that's how I would that's how I would basically say, yeah.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Appreciate that for real.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
for sure, fam.
Okay, what was your takeaways going through this?
Yeah, I mean, it was just very. I mean, the title is kind of like in your face.
It's in your
Uh,
face.
but I think once I settled into it, I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was really great. Like you said, he mentioned versatility. There was a lot of versatility in the project to me.
Not just in terms of the different beats, as Solar pointed out, but the way the choruses are formed, right?
Mhm.
The different tempos the rapping happens at, right?
Right.
Sometimes I stopped and was like, damn, we're moving fast right now. Like you wouldn't think this is a beat you would move fast on. We're moving fast. Like
Yeah,
that's cool. Like, yeah. Five has the
but
ability to kind of play with it in any range, you know? Um, so that's good stuff. I enjoy
Yeah.
it. Um,
Gratitude.
yeah, man. In terms of the Solar Five powers, right? I was talking to so first I got into rap music to chase the rawest human emotion I could find, right? I was young, I was listening to a lot of punk rock. I was really into people expressing real raw shit. And when I found Scarface, I felt like this is it, right? And I was talking to Zilla Rocca, who you've done songs, and his favorite rapper of all time is Ghostface. And I
Mm.
was like, the commonality here, both of these are top craftsmen, but they both were very raw with their emotions, right? They were both like gutting themselves. And so it didn't really matter if you lived the same life Scarface did. It was so vividly captured and so human that it was a one of a kind experience. And so I think that's the power of connecting on that emotional level. You get people that connect with your story, but you also get people who just want to connect with human emotions and empathize. Uh, so yeah, I think that's one of the strengths here. But this incredibly well organized as well.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, that really hits home for me because that's one of the reasons why I make music. Is like I want to connect with you on an emotional level, not just a surface level. So hearing that back, that's the best feedback an artist could get. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Yeah, I mean that's what keeps artists' reputation alive. Like I was thinking about it recently. Like how long has the media tried to tell everyone that Tupac wasn't good at rapping? And it never really penetrated because people connect emotionally to what he was saying. You know,
Yeah.
it connects.
It's crazy you say that because I used to get so like people would get so offended, and it's like I think Pac was great because of his movement, like everything that he built around his music. And that's what I felt was more impactful than his music itself. I don't think he's a great lyricist, but when you take everything in hindsight and put his whole catalog out, every album represented something that he was going through or trying to fight for.
Right.
And like I think that's the longevity of it. That's why he's so like revered. You know what I'm saying? This is why so many people fuck with him. And like if it was any other person that did the exact same songs, I'd be like, who the fuck is rapping? Like this is so basic, you know?
Right.
But it's Pac, you know, and Pac like Pac had like this whole movement behind him that literally changed the game. Like, when have you ever seen someone from the East Coast go to the West Coast and just dominate like that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
he totally changed the culture and he totally became a whole different person when he arrived in Cali. And it's like, it's just wild, man. But, I still think he's one of the goats, but I wouldn't put he's not in my top lyricist, goat list,
Yeah,
but
no,
he's an
it's not like
overall
I don't know. I
artist.
don't know about that. Hail Mary. That's one of my favorite like lyrical pop album like
yeah,
records. You know what I'm saying? Like that nigga was rapping on Hail Mary.
Yeah, dude.
I ain't a killer, don't push me. Revenge is like the sweetest joy next to getting pussy. That is one of those. I don't care who said that. That is fucking raw as fuck. You know,
Yeah.
penitentiaries is packed with promise makers. That nigga was rapping like we. Most of his songs don't have a lot of lyricism in them, as far as rapping goes. But like that one, I think he proved like I can hang with the best of these motherfuckers if I wanted to. But I don't know. That's just
And I also think Solar, like, he was he was on such a truncated timetable.
Yeah,
He was
dude.
just like he was doing a lot of songs very quickly,
hmm
and like he wasn't doing the 2 years with one album thing.
Yeah,
So there you got a lot of Hennessy and Enemy bars. Like you got a lot of that. That's a fair critique.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I'm not.
but
Like I said, like he is a goat. Like he's a legend, man. Like his music made a huge impact. His movement made a huge impact. I just don't like I said, lyricism wise, there's a couple people ahead of him, but that doesn't change the
yeah,
legacy he left behind, doesn't change his track record, doesn't change anything he stood for, because what he rapped about then, he was living through. I mean, he died rapping about what he rapped about, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So he lived that shit. So all respect to him. And I agree with, with Q on, him being a lyricist at a certain point. I do agree with that. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I give me some Black Thought, man. You know what I'm saying? Give me some Black Thought. You know what I'm saying? So,
but like what I think people miss maybe on Pac's front is that uh, framing imagery is part of lyricism. It's not just rhyme patterns, it's
right.
where you
hmm
put the camera, right? And like where you are, what is your focus? And like, what is that? That's the song that Warren G produced on All Eyes on Me was a story that Warren G told him about what happened before he came to the studio. And he's like, this is perfect. And like, he just kind of knew this script is going to work. Like, and he could frame imagery in a way that no one else was doing. So I give him credit on that. Um, and I think if he slowed down, he would have experimented more technically. But either way, that whoa, Hail Mary stories, Solar. In basic training, there was a moment we were all in our bunks, and like four of us, right, top bottom, we all had our disc man in, and we were all listening to Hail Mary and singing loud as fuck, like the whole song. Uh, and we were just like, that was just where we were at. It
That's
was that
fire.
time. Yeah, and it was
What
all
branch of the military were you in?
army, army. So it's me on the top, me on the bottom bunk doing it. You know, Mexican dude from Houston on the top, like, and just all from all different places. All of us like this song is crazy. So it was a uniter. Like
Yeah.
everybody was fucking with him, and like people, a lot of people from Florida were fucking with, like, all over the place. So yeah, but that's the power of this personalized stuff. Um, so I'm into it. I think, can I hit you with my theory about
Mhm.
cocaine in the faders?
Let's do it.
I think it's a lot better than Paved with Good Intentions. No shots at Paved with Good
hmm
Intentions. I think it's a huge step, and I think it's because the juxtaposition is is so remarkable here. The juxtaposition of um like the savage grit of the lyrics with how pretty the beats can be,
Mm.
that juxtaposition to me pushes this to another level.
I agree with you. I think Paved with Good Intentions, I wanted to make a rap album. You know what I'm saying? I was looking just to rap more than anything. I wasn't even really looking to make music or an album. I was just trying to rap. With Please Don't Get Cocaine in the Faders, I was focused on making music, if that makes sense. Like I wanted to make beautiful music, not just raw raps. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
I could totally I see where you at with that.
Mhm.
What's the difference between the two for you?
Um, if I'm just rapping, I could go on forever. I ain't gotta stop. I'm gonna give you, talk braggadocious bars. I'm gonna give you introspective bars, but I could just keep going. And
Mhm.
I'm trying to like tear your head off when I'm rapping. I think with making music, I'm really more so trying to convey an emotion. Um, More so than just rapping. Rapping, it's like boxing. You know what I'm saying? If I'm just rapping, I'm trying to win the fight. If I'm making music, like I don't care if I won the fight. I'm just showing everybody that I got heart. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Is that like, and that's the interesting thing is like when you're at that god tier of being able to do that, right? Because like so we talked about this. There's levels, right? The first mixtape is always called "Who the fuck is" and then your name, right?
Mhm.
And it's you being like, watch what I do. Watch me. You don't know me, but I rap my ass off, right? And you do that for a while. You know what comes to mind with that? John Connor. You remember John Connor? He was like rapping his face
Yeah.
off for like a while. But then you have to go to another level because that ultimate skill set starts to work against you
Hmm.
because rapping on a god tier level is good enough. It really is, right? Like it's awesome, but you'll never get to the final frontier of like making your legacy, making timeless music that way. You rarely will.
Yeah.
Uh,
Rarely will. Yeah.
how do you develop or how do you evolve from just rapping to making music?
I think I was always good at making music. I don't necessarily feel like I was always good at rapping. I had to study rap in
Mm.
order to get good at rapping. I think I was always musically inclined. I played, trumpet, and I was always making beats. So musically, it came natural. It was the rapping, like technical skills,
Mm.
really like learning how to boast myself up and big myself up and punchlines and metaphors and using those correctly and on beat. That was it was kind of hard. I'm saying to really learn. I had to really learn that.
Mm.
Makes sense. If you start off as a producer, you're much more hooked into the song being a success.
Mm,
If you start off as a rapper, you're kind of wired to be successful rapping and get that credit as successful rapping, right?
yeah, I mean, I started off as a rapper though. Like,
Oh,
I
okay.
did start off rapping, but I was listening to like old school Cash Money records, Bling Bling. I
Yeah.
wasn't learning how to rap. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
really wasn't learning how to rap by what I was listening to. So, I was trying to make those bling bling beats and rap to that. And then once my uncle is the one who put me on, he was like, "This shit sucks. Like this sucks. I know you don't kill nobody. I know you ain't sold no drugs. I'm like 10, 11 years old when this is
Yeah.
happening." He's like, "I know you didn't do this. Listen to this Nas, Illmatic album.
Mhm.
Listen to Fat Joe Don Cartagena. Listen to Big Pun, Capital Punishment." And from there, it was just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, okay, I like this shit. Like, I need to learn
Yeah.
how to do this.
Mm.
That makes sense. Yeah. Sometimes if yeah, you like if you start with your creative process from like what's cool on the radio,
Yeah,
you're in a tough spot, right? Like most of the people that we love have a deep knowledge of all this stuff, you know?
yeah,
Uh, and so when sometimes like whack interviewers will be interviewing really top lyricists and be surprised when they have deep knowledge of Little Yachty, and you're like, dude, he's listening to everybody, bro. Like, A lot of these cats are. Um, so, but you remember, like, I'm just thinking of guys who went from killing it lyrically to making top music. I was thinking of Gibbs.
Yeah.
Gibbs was raw. Remember that Straight Killer EP?
I don't think I listened to that.
Oh man, that shit was ooh. He was rapping his face off. But I think when he went to the Jeezy CT label and it didn't go well and all that, I think he was way more focused on hooks and way more focused on tying songs together. Um, and after that, I think you can see a shift where everything starts flowing, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I think a lot of that was evident when he got with Madlib.
Yep.
Because to me, that honestly, like, I remember Gibbs coming out because he would be in and out of Chicago, and I would see him like at certain venues rapping his ass off, you know. And I think he was staying out in Indiana, I think. But anyway, long story short is like I didn't really like pay attention until after that Madlib album. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, this guy's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was tapped in from like 2011 on. So I got to hear the growth. Uh, but yeah, I think he's a great example of you start off wanting to let people know that you're nothing to fuck with, and then you go from that where you're like, no, now I'm trying to put together the perfect album. You
Hmm.
know? Um, so what do you have a project, Solar, where you feel like you made the jump and you were like, this is the progress and this is the bar now.
Um, I think the first bar was set with 88 Soul.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, before that, I had only done like mixtapes and ciphers and stuff. I think 88 Soul is where I really figured out how to incorporate everything that I learned from rapping my ass off and making dope, catchy hooks and other things about making music, like song structure and breaking song structure and shit like that. Um, once once 88 Soul came out, like that was just I was like, I get it now. You know what I'm saying? I get it.
Yeah. The yeah, I'm checking. I found the 88 Soul Fake Shore Drive write up
Oh wow. I
from
forgot about that.
2015.
Yeah.
I was checking that out. So there you have it. Deep thoughts from a deep artist who has plenty on his mind and even more to get off his chest. It's awesome. Shout out to Andrew Barber.
Yes, sir.
Um, yeah, but yeah, it makes sense. So that once the, I think those bars are important, Kay, where you have something you can hold on to that you say, I've never made anything this good, and I'm never
Mm.
going to make anything worse. This is it for me.
It's like a ladder, you know,
Yeah,
like the rungs of a ladder. Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Hmm.
do you have a point in your career, custom, where you hit that?
Man, truth be told, like I consider myself a late bloomer
Mm,
because this coming May I'm going to be 45, but I feel like I didn't focus and I wasn't, structured in my late 20s, early 30s when I was trying to do music. Um, it wasn't until very late, until my like mid 30s, where I kind of just had this huge paradigm shift where I'm like, what am I doing? And why do I continue to like backpedal or like be stagnant with certain things? And I always thought that I needed to do it with like a big team or something, And then a lot of it I attribute to a kid. He's younger. I wouldn't say he's a kid. He's like about 5 years younger than me, but his name is Serious Beats. And a lot of what my conditioning, work ethic, and structure, I owe a lot to him because I learned how he made music. And it was a different approach to how I did. I used to be the old school backpack, MPC only, fuck computers, fuck, digital software, blah, blah, blah. I was like so ignorant, I wasn't open minded at all. And, not to knock anyone that works on an MPC because it's a powerful tool, but I just learned that I could work with a lot of things. And basically, I think it's very detrimental to who I am now. I honestly don't have a foot in this game. Like I'm really trying really hard to like, you know, uh, help grow this filthy experience, but then at the same time, I want to give my best to every artist that works with me. So it's like a constant like steel sharpen steel type thing.
Yeah.
And I just feel as of right now, ever since working with Filthe, like Filthe giving me the chance, um, and getting to this point, I feel like this is how it's supposed to be, and
Right.
I can't really say I have like a particular style or sound because I always want it to change with every project that I'm working on. So yeah, man, like I think the move with Filthy and them taking me on and giving me the opportunity is pretty much what got me here. And I feel like, I'm indebted to everyone that fucks with Filthy. Like, anyone that supports, anyone that is a fan, Q has always been like super humble, easy to work with. Like I trust his vision, I trust his artistic vision, I trust his input. So, because he'll like tweak a couple of my beats, and I'll be like, shit, that sounds great. Like he'll put in a little bit of his flavor in there, and I appreciate that because it helps us grow the sound. So, but yeah, I mean that's where I'm at, man. Yeah, just late blooming it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Well,
wanted to ask you.
Ahead of your
So,
time, man. Ahead of your time.
yeah.
yeah,
Oh
as
yeah.
a late bloomer, do you see any advantages to being a late bloomer?
Oh man, I don't know, man, because I can't hang with these kids going out at night, fucking listening to music and shit. My ass trying to knock out at 10 o'clock. These kids is like got all kinds of energy and like be in the studio for like 12 hours straight, like just creating, creating, creating. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe the only benefit is patience and being more open minded and not like I'm past the trying to impress people, and I'm past the trying to get approval of people too. I'm just chill, man. Like if whatever happens, happens. Like I love if there's a door that opens, I'm willing to walk through it to see what's there. But if it's not, I just keep it moving. Like I don't know. I just think I guess it's true what they say with age comes wisdom, but at the same time, like I am like a sponge right now because I have so many peers in the Midwest alone that do amazing music, and I feel like I can never catch up, like ever, because you know I'm over here like, yeah, doing all this music, and then I see like my peers and my friends drop an album, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what am I doing? Like that sounds amazing, and
Yeah.
so that's how I am. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I don't think age really has anything to do with it. I think it's more of like commitment, where you're at with it and how much you want to improve in it. I think improving it all the time is probably the best thing any artist can do. You always want to outdo your last shit. So I don't think there's an advantage because I feel like there's kids half my age that teach me things all the time. Like it's weird because you have these random young producers hitting you up and how'd you do this? I'm like, oh, I just did this, and they're like, oh, really? Well, I did it this way, and I'm like, oh shit, I never even knew you could do that. Like. And they're like, for real? You didn't know that? Like, nah, like I never thought of even doing it that way. Like, you just saved me 5 minutes. So I'm super open minded to like the younger generation. Like, I'm really confident in their abilities because they they just see things differently. I'm still kind of like the old school, structure, kind of like, let me dig on a sample, let me listen to it for a while, let me chop it up, let me make a beat. Oh, it's trash, throw it away. These kids aren't like that. They'll take everything and anything and they'll be like, I might not like this beat, but this might fit someone else, you know? So if anything, I learned that, you know, don't throw away everything because you never know. Like one man's trash is another man's treasure, you know? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't think age, I don't think where I'm at my age is that I feel like I have to compete or not compete, but catch up more because these kids are amazing, man. There's just so many dope young producers out there that are just light years ahead of me, and I feel like I just caught up to them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I don't know. There's no advantage.
I experienced
No
this.
advantage.
I
Yeah.
experienced this with when I first had a kid. Right, it's a lifestyle shift. Right, so like I can't go out to the bar after the shift with the important people and schmooze. Right, I got to go home. I can't
Right.
work the extra hours to do the overtime. I got to go. You know, I'm not even going to the award show. You know what I mean? Like I'm with my kid. So and that puts me at a disadvantage from like the kind of young mid to late 20s who are like, I'll do everything to get ahead. Um, and I had to shift my mentality to be like, that's cool. They work 12-hour shifts and they schmooze, but I'm a fucking sniper.
Mm.
I'm a time management god. I'm gonna come in there. I'm gonna line it up. I'm gonna knock it down, and I'm gonna go. And they can't replace me with these other dudes because they don't think like that. You know.
Mm.
So hopefully that's the phase where you're at, where you're like, yeah, I'm knocking off at 10 because I did what I did. And I'm happy with it.
You know, it's funny that you bring that up, that comparison, that analogy, because you know I do have about like 3 to 4 producers that I'm kind of mentoring, and I'm slowly trying to get them used to doing albums rather than just sell beats or post beats aimlessly in the abyss of what's the internet, right? And I try to show them like, I'm not asking you to make beats the way I make it. I'm just asking you to like mimic the structure and the work ethic, so that way, when you find the right artist, everything's gonna fall in place. And I think I'm doing an okay job because each of these 3 producers are right now working on projects, and I'm amazed at what I've been listening to. Like it really makes me feel like, yo, they listen to what I had to suggest, and I think the only thing that I do differently from a lot of people is that I make beats every day, minimum 10 beats every day, no matter what. Like, and I've been doing that since COVID.
Mhm.
So, that's probably the only thing. I ask other producers, and they're stuck on a beat for like a month, and I can't wrap my head around that. So I don't know. I think that's probably the only thing I could do without very little to no effort, and it's just I'm a sample chopping whore. Like I listen to samples all day, get them ready, and then the next day I just make a shit ton of beats, clean them up, and then when I'm ready to go to the studio at Docs, mix and master, and then I find artists. That's all. I mean, that's just my process.
Yeah. I mean, and if you make 10 beats a day, Solar, you have to be pretty good at knowing when a beat is done.
Thanks.
The working
Yeah,
at a beat for a month, my experience with talking to those cats is that they're seeing all the spots they can fill, right? They're tweaking and they're just like, I could do more with this, you know? Um, and I always admire people who are like, nope, that one's done. And it is. Um, so I think
yeah,
that's a skill set.
yeah. I think it's important that you say that. I think sometimes a lot of producers, uh, they either underestimate themselves or they overestimate. And it's just a learning curve. I was in that phase, but that was like damn near 2 decades ago. Now, because my time is so limited because of work, family, and other projects going on through Filthy, like I have to make sure I'm happy with what I'm making because I don't have time or the resources to stick to one beat. So I'm kind of happy that I fine tuned my process this way. So that way, you got SolarFive doing what he's doing. You got Filthe doing what it's doing because, once I send it off, there's no turning back. Like I can't change it or adjust it or anything, like it's done. Like the beat is intended the way it is. And, I'm just super happy that the reception among, the label, the crew, and the artists that have collabed with me, you know, like they do dope shit, man. It's like I don't think it's because of my beats. I just think it's because of the collaboration itself. It's like Voltron and shit. Like we come together and we're whooping some ass, and it's a dope thing to see.
Yeah, I'm with you. That makes sense to me. Um, oh man, I K. I
Mhm.
love this album so much. Um, oh, by the way, before we get to that, SolarFive has so much dope shit. I just wanted to shout out, and this is on Filthy Records, right? If someone asked me what is like the sneaky best SolarFive that you don't know, like the one that isn't like in the spotlight, I will go Don't Dig Too Deep with Furious Styles. That shit, 5 songs, PTSD is on there. It that is just an adrenaline shot. I love that. I love that project.
Yeah. Appreciate that, man. I was just hitting up Furious the other day, talking, trying to get some more beats.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that project. The momentum on it is great. Uh, just SolarFive has a lot of great shit, and people should just dig into the catalog. But Kay, my favorite song on "Don't Get Cocaine in the Faders," please don't get
Mhm.
cocaine in the faders. Always forget to please. Um, is a bonus track. It's a
Mm.
digital exclusive.
Yeah, the broke dreams. Yeah.
Nope, it's a Goon's Victory.
Um,
Number
Oh, Goon's Victory. Sorry. Yes, yes, yes.
yep.
Real-
Goon's Victory is my favorite shit on the whole project, and it's a digital bonus track. Like SolarFive always does this, where he lays out my favorite shit, and it's just like totally unexpected. Um,
yeah.
yeah. Um, eh, just the way that hook locks in, uh, the stuff that you talk about in there. I got notes. It's fabulous. So let me go to that one. Oh yeah, my favorite song on the album. This is quintessential Solar, singing with pain in it. Heard the Masons turning pages. Demons took a second grader. Ominous storyteller Solar is undefeated. Um, also has "Love is the only truth" as a line, which is amazing. Um, so just a lot of quotables in that for me.
Man,
Yeah,
that's crazy. Man, appreciate that. I love that song. I love that whole album. The whole album to me is just,
yeah,
it's a lot in there. I was listening to it. It's like, man, sometimes I'll be wondering how I wrote this shit. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I get locked in a zone when I'm writing, and I pretty much write it and record it like right then and there. I don't try to memorize. Like that's why I have a hard time memorizing my shit is because I'm writing it in the studio and then recording it like immediately. So really going back and listening and like thinking about what I said is crazy. Like I got some crazy shit on there.
So yeah, that makes sense. You're writing it, you're recording it right there. You're like in the moment of having made that. You
Mhm.
know,
Hmm.
you get it done, and then that moment passes, and you're looking back on it like, God damn, like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Like where was I at? Like it's a release. You know what I'm saying? Like it's pretty much therapy. It's like journal writing for me at this point. Um, if I don't like re-recording verses. Like I rarely do it. Rarely do it. Because it's hard for me to capture that moment again. Um, as far as vocally, emotionally, I could re-record, any song off of any album right now, and it's just not gonna sound right to me because it's not from being in that moment. You know what I'm saying? I think that might come from freestyling and ciphers and shit. Just getting it out right then and there is very important to me.
Yeah. And like a lot of people that I've talked to who have great flows are like momentum cats, you know? Like the flow gets going, they ride with it, the adrenaline's up, they get it done. I remember talking to Teller Banks, and he said after he recorded it and nailed it, his adrenaline was so high, he like ran down the neighborhood and jumped somebody's fence, you know? Like he was just like the adrenaline was so up. Um, and I understand when your emotions are part of this, that you get that sense. Um, Kay, what did you have any standout tracks on this?
Yeah, I mean my favorite track was actually The Day I Met Her,
Mm.
Oh yeah.
with Def C. I thought that beat was I mean I thought that I was just one of my favorite things I've heard this year. Uh that the whole run, like the whole like I liked Book of John featuring Trufo.
Yeah,
That was
that's
probably
one of
my
my
favorite guest
favorites.
spot.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. And then a couple songs after that, the Def C verse, and then No Headstones. I really liked that chunk of the album.
Yeah. The day I met her,
Yeah.
I found it interesting because Body Snatchers is so haunting, right?
Mm.
I was like, I Body Snatchers, I said, song sounds like the most like being haunted by a ghost. The way you say, "Am I good enough?" is just, and then the voice changes and gets even more haunting. The production went from pretty in the beginning to creepy. Um, and then the day I met her comes out, and this is like very heartwarming and sincere. I said one of the best songs of 2025.
Yeah.
FC absolutely destroys. You know, um, man, Solar
Shout out to Def C, man. Shout out to Def C for sure.
Yes, sir. It's my boy.
Yeah,
Solo
he's a
talks
good
about
dude.
pride in his heritage and like and carrying that on. I mean, it was just beautiful. It's a beautiful song. So, and it's one of those songs where lots of people can work hard, get a great flow, and talk some hardcore shit, right? And but to be able to make a song like that, not everybody can do that. Not everybody's built for that.
No facts.
Yep. So yeah. Go ahead, Kay. Did you have some?
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying I thought the sequencing for that chunk of the album was very strong. Do you want to like how? What was your process regarding the sequencing of the project?
Well, is that for Q? Because
Mm.
Oh, yeah,
Q's the
both of you. I mean,
mastermind.
both of you.
Well, just to clear things up, like the best songs in this album are the ones that I didn't produce, because that Q is a fucking problem. Like he doesn't need me, man. But so like the day I met her is an amazing song,
Yeah.
and like I said the same thing in our last project. I'm like, dude, the one beat I wish I made, you made, and it was amazing. So it's like that will always be a continuing thing, but yeah, I'll let Q break it down, but he's a master at just arranging shit together like this, man. Because the flow of this album, like how it
Yeah.
starts to
Yep.
the
Mhm.
middle to the end, it's just it paints a very big picture, and it's like a movie. You kind of like you're getting the ups and downs, but then when it hits really hard. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. Man, I don't know. I was listening. I just had to listen to everything. Honestly, I knew what I wanted to be the intro, and I knew what the outro was. Everything in between was just like, what am I like? What's gonna go next? And funny enough, most of it is how it was written, like in the order that it was written. So, like,
Oh,
with the exception of the beats that I produced, most of it was in the order that I wrote it. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that wasn't intentional at all. It was just how it came about.
And so, you know me, I overthink things. Listening to this album today, right? I'm fascinated by um, from the first song on the what I called the bitter mad rapper character that shows up on the skits. What I was calling the bitter mad rapper character who's on the very beginning, right? Established from the very
Mhm.
beginning and goes on a journey, a real journey throughout the album, right? With uh how he sees you. And there's a lot of yelling there. And then
Man, my
that
internet.
mirror image song, there's like a couple arguing in there and mixed with this kind of jazzy, beautiful, custom made production. I was like, oh shit, this album is a movie. It's just a Spike Lee movie from the 90s.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The coked out rapper, man. That was it's something that I had to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah, you're
Okay,
Yeah.
because
good.
my
You're good.
internet has been
You're good.
tweaking.
Yep.
It's been tweaking. We had a tornado warning earlier, so I wasn't sure. Um, so yeah, so that stems from the title. Please don't get cocaine. And I ran a studio 406 for a while, and a lot of what I'm talking about on this album is just where my mind was during that period of time, up until now, of course. But um, it was for real. Like, my studio was almost like a drug den. You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of became that, and niggas was in there doing coke hella, and it's that type of erratic thought that used to always turn into like hour-long fucking conversations with somebody else coked up and just wouldn't shut the fuck up, talking about what they wanted to do and how they were gonna do it, and all the music that they had, and how everybody else was whack and shit like that. So it was like, y'all just don't get no cocaine in my faders. Do what y'all do, but don't get that shit in my faders. My shit is real, raw, and authentic. You know what I'm saying?
That's it was, and I figured it was something like that. My favorite of them is at the end of The Art of Me or Art of Me,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because to me that's the key that unlocks the whole thing. There's a lot of like, they said you're great, you're not great. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
that going on earlier from the character, but that message where he's like, I need you to tell me I'm great. You may be good at this, but I function off people telling me I'm great. So you didn't tell me I was great, so I hate you. You know?
Yep.
And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, that's it. That's the whole show. Like anything this character says after that, um, that's the confession, you know?
Oh yeah, facts. I'm a tough critic, like as an engineer. So most of the time, I'm not even giving my true opinions on the music. I'm letting you know what could sound good,
Right.
rather than telling you, your music sucks, because I need the money. You know what I'm saying? You're paying for this time, so. But no, that's really what it is. Like, I'm showcasing what it is that you should be trying to, get to. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna tell you you great. It's just not in me. You know,
And
unless you are.
and I think starting from the place where you have to have everyone telling you that you're great is it's almost like the line you said where you're like, never fear a man who puts his hands on a woman, right? It's kind of the same situation where you're like, you you're starting this journey from a bottomless hole you need to fill, and that's gonna derail you from your mission, which should be the
Mm.
best art you can do. You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, your target should be the art, not the fame, right? Um,
Yeah, for sure. For sure it should be. It should be the art always. I think that it took me a while to even get to that point myself. You know what I'm saying? Um, a lot of stuff that, like the whole 406 movement was really me chasing, trying to get on like Mick Jenkins. You know what I'm saying? Like I was chasing that. And I had to realize, you know, am I was at a point where I might have stopped. I was thinking about stopping doing music. And when I came to the realization, like, I didn't care when I was making music for myself in in my grandma's basement or in my room. Like it's something I've been doing since I was 12 years old. I'm never gonna stop doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's gotta be I gotta be doing this because I'm an artist, because I love the art. You know, and yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, it's and that doesn't mean you don't want people to hear you, right?
No
You
facts.
don't
You know,
want to like you're proud of what you did, so you want it to hit as many ears as possible.
facts. It's like bombing. It's like tagging. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care if anybody sees this burner, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna put it somewhere so that you can see it. You know, it's up to you to look. But I'm not clocking everybody that looks at this. You know, it's hip hop. To me, it's just hip hop.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because my son had a Langston Hughes presentation to do, and he was struggling with it, and I told him, I said, when you go up there, you're not the star of this. Langston Hughes is. You're the delivery mechanism for Langston Hughes.
That's facts.
If you view it like that you're just working to make them understand this, you won't have to be nervous.
Yeah,
So
that's tight. That's
that's
good
all.
advice. I'm
That's how
keeping
I've
that in the
always
back
seen
of
it.
my head.
Yeah, that's how I've always seen it. When I went up there, I was like, they need to know this shit that I'm saying. So I'm just delivering it, you know. Um, but yeah, and I think that's important. But to have a healthy outlook on that shit. What did you make of the series of those skits with the bitter coked out rapper?
I mean, it's funny because I didn't put them together. I didn't put the skits together. I listened to them all in the moment. So I'll have to listen to the album again with it in context of of them being connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the advantage I have is I've been banging this shit for months. I know a lot of it. Um, but yeah, yeah. So it's very good. It's a very important runs of songs on this. Let's see here. Wanted to go back to that track list. Um, yeah. Oh, we talked about No Headstones, which is amazing,
Mhm.
but we haven't talked about Pray for Me, which is
That almost didn't make it on the album. I'm not gonna lie. I was real self conscious about that one. Um, I was real self conscious about that song. I don't know why. It was different. You know what I'm saying? It was a
yeah,
different type of vibe. But I love that beat, man. That custom, man. That beat was so fucking fire, and that's just how it made me feel. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to go at it like that. I didn't. I don't know, man. I almost didn't make the cut though. Like I was really considering not doing that.
Yeah,
yeah,
I was kind of like shocked too, because like well, first I don't even remember throwing that in the batch. That's the funny part. And then second, like when you picked it, I'm like, okay, you know, I feel like this might not work because the beat itself is kind of different from anything I've sent you before. But I was like, hey, I trust, I trust what you got going on. And yeah, bro, like I did not expect that song. And that's what makes it super dope is that we both were kind of out of our comfort zones and look what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like so to me, I'm glad you put it on the album and I'm glad I had that beat in that batch because it's a dope song, dude. You went the fuck in.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, for real. Whew.
I got to read my notes on this song.
All right.
Pretty, I enjoy like so. It says top three song on the album. Incredible flow that totally shifts during the chorus. During the blog era, this song would have been king. The beat shift,
Wow.
the beat shift for the chorus is fireworks. Maybe Custom's best beat goes from simple to an event.
Mm, yeah. I don't know, man. I can't even. That shit was just. It's one of them things, man. It's just
Yeah,
one of them things. I can't explain it at all. I can't even explain my headspace on it. The beat spoke to me more so than anything. I remember when I heard the beat, I was mumbling that I need y'all to pray for. I
yeah,
was mumbling that too, and I was just like, man. And as of recently, I've been back practicing Islam, so like it was just one of those things that just had to come out. It had to come out, and I'm glad. You think that's top three on an
yeah, I do.
album? That's crazy.
I do. I do. It's yeah. There's a lot of stuff on here. This is 17 tracks. Um, and I can't think of any that I would take off. You know what I mean? Like but also in terms of the sequencing, right?
Hmm.
I wanted to see if Kay felt the same way. I think Blue Souls really activates another gear in this album.
Blue
Uh,
Soul.
Blue Souls, the third track, right? So it start A Boss's Glory and Overcome, I think are really good kind of character building. Here's what this album is.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying at the beginning. Like it starts off like if you just heard the first three songs, you wouldn't have a good impression of what the actual album sounds like. If it and I agree with you. I do think that Blue Souls there is kind of like a shift
Yep.
in the album.
And from Blue Souls on, it shifts up, right? Purple Drinks, the the choruses get more and more hypnotic, right? And like Snake Charmer choruses and the 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 content intensifies, you know. Uh
Hmm.
so we're learning more and getting more and it really does build and then to something like Pray for Me, you know, you go headstones like I know you from a past life, but maybe you don't know. I guess I'm Inuyasha. You can be Kagome. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
dude, I hate myself. So many love me. Um, I can see in your eyes. It's your hell, not mine. Like there's moments in this where you are taking yourself to task, but there's also moments where you're looking at somebody and you're like, "Oh, I know how you're fucked up because I just dealt with that."
Hmm.
So now I know your weak spot.
Yeah. Man, that one line, I hate myself so many love me. That was for real, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that was one of them lines where I just couldn't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like I was going through a bunch of shit while writing. I just couldn't understand how, people saw me in such a positive light and I didn't see myself like that. You know what I'm saying? So no, it went real deep into the mind of SolarFive,
Yeah.
kind of crazy. Just a little
Now,
bit.
and I'm used to it. Like when I was writing, like before I started doing this, and I was just writing my own shit. Me and my people would if you read your real painful shit, we would all just be like, that was the shit. Like that was the goal for us. Go
Yeah.
go as hard as you can into this, find something special, because that we're after this emotion. We're after this real thing. So, and that's maybe one of the reasons I connect with your music, right? It's like we're still on that journey.
Mm.
Yeah. That is what really, sparked me doing like writing like that and actually putting emotion into music is funny enough, it was Joe Budden, you know what I'm saying? I heard, yeah, crazy, right? I heard 10 minutes off his first album. And I had never listened to a 10-minute song ever in my fucking life. I probably never will
Right.
listen to a 10-minute song. But the amount of pain he put into that song and how real and raw he expressed his emotions. I was like, if I can touch somebody like that, with my raps, then it's worth it. It's definitely worth it to put your pain in your music. Like I said, it's therapy, man.
Mm.
Yep.
I had a question for both SolarFive and Custom Made. What are some of the not necessarily the songs, but what are some of the moments on the album that you really treasure?
Mm. Custom, you want to go? I gotta think.
Yeah. So for me, some of the songs that resonated with me a lot
Mhm.
were just instances where I kind of pictured myself in that situation, or of like, man, I've felt that, or I've seen that, and so for me, like, there's definitely Book of John with Truffaut. Um, there's so much in that song itself that kind of paints a crazy story where just it brought me back to the 1990s. And I don't want to say too much about certain things that happened with my family, but it just brought me back there.
Mm.
And I remembered that, like, man, like, how, I guess, naive I was as a kid and not understanding the situation that was laying before me. But when I listened to that song, it's like, man, they're talking about a lot of things that I've seen, and it took me to that particular place.
Mm.
Uh, now so with Blue Skyline with Kid Breeze, it was a vibe that I felt that again, like it's just a situation, and it just took me back to my college years, and where I was at in life, and it was pretty interesting how out of all these songs, those two songs kind of did that for me. Um, Now with Higher and The Day I Met Her, especially like what Def C touches upon, again, like these are things that I felt like, man, did this motherfucker like get into my head and started
Yeah.
snooping around and shit, because like I've been there, I've been there. So overall, like those songs are at the top of my head where I caught myself just like thinking like, damn, this is crazy. I remember this, I remember that, I remember going about this, going about that. And then for the artistic side, for um, thinking like, man, I would never think in a million years this would work. And it's not that I'm trying to like, take away from anything. Like Pray For Me really caught me off guard because I didn't see that happening. Like I've never heard Q like that. You know what I'm saying? And then the topic and then the beat. So it's like I would never in a million years think that that's how it would come together, but I was happy that it did. Same thing with Body Snatchers. Now, a little story about Body Snatchers is that I was actually trying to work on some R&B stuff, but then it's like, what if I did like grimy R&B, And that's how Body Snatchers came out, and Q just fucking killed it. Like he killed it. And
Yeah.
I was just like, wow. So yeah, so I overall, like I just think it's amazing how well, when two people that are creatives do them, and then it's like, it merges. It's just like you don't know what to expect because, like, the complete project, like the completed project, is amazing, and then but I didn't know what to expect with Q in this instance because I'm just like, here, bro, here's the canvas, you do you, and I trust your artistic ability.
Right.
And
Right.
then he gets to work, he does his thing, then he goes, here, bro, this is what I came up with, and I'm like, holy shit, like this is crazy. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. I mean,
I'll,
that's the best
I'll
way I could describe it. Yeah.
I'll go next with moments, right? Signature moment. Um, so first of all, did custom do overcome?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Overcome to me is a custom signature moment, right?
Mm.
The faint whisper of horns in the background, they're like so far behind where things are that it feels like you're walking and you hear someone playing the horn in the distance. Like it's so beautiful. Um,
Appreciate it.
Overcome is that I was like, that's custom made. Like that's the magic. Um, the SolarFive moment would be where I'm from. Most of my friends are moles.
Uh, moles. Most of my friends are moles. So
Yep.
I grew up around Black Pea Stones. You know what I'm saying? And most of my friends were, I grew up Muslim, and they follow, like, they follow the Quran as well. So it was just one of those things where, we was always tight, you know what I'm saying? Um, that's funny. It's funny you say that though, because like that's one of my favorite tracks, especially because of who's on that song. Like
Yep.
I met Truffaut years before I like really officially met him. And it's funny, like he kind of walked up on me trying to check me because we kept circling the block that he was at, we was trying to find parking. You know what I'm saying? We was just trying to find parking. But once we parked, these niggas ran out on us, and I'm just like, hey man, I work right here, bro. Like, cool out, you know what I'm saying? And then years later, I meet him at a rap battle through my homie Speedy, and like I was teaching his younger sister type shit. You know what I'm saying? In
Right.
the after school programs. So it's like once we really linked and like just talked about our lives and shit, like it was like kindred spirits. You know what I'm saying? Like from two different sides of town, same goal.
Right. And the way he flips that line in his verse, like it creates a signature where you're painting your environment and you have the ability to really casually say something that will live in someone's head.
So
Um,
that the hook comes from his battle raps. Like he say, what's happening? Are we friends or foes? I don't know. But where I'm from, most of my friends are foes. Talking about folk on the hustlers. Like he says that in almost all of his battle raps. So when I took that
yeah,
and was writing a hook to it, and I was just like, yo, I gotta get him on this track if I'm gonna use this. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm gonna use this, I gotta get him on the track. And it turned out to be one of my favorite joints, like really one of my favorite joints on the project.
yeah, no, that is definitely a signature moment. Um, did you Solar? Do you have any that stick out for you custom or yeah
Um,
on the album?
hmm.
There's a lot of options.
Pray for Me is really one of those like,
Yeah,
okay, you know what I'm saying? Like I felt challenged to rap. But I wanted it, I wanted that challenge. I felt the emotion behind the beat, the everything about Pray for Me was just a standout moment, like signature
yep,
what I envision SolarFive as, you know what I'm saying? Um, because I have tracks that, people ain't really, I don't think people are ready for where I'm barely rapping. I'm mainly saying it's
yep,
rhythm and gangster, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing other shit. So I feel like that was a very good beat for me to like segue into some of the stuff I may release. may or may not release in the
Yep.
future. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome. Yep. Throw that up. See secret, make it a high price for people who really want it.
Yeah,
You
man.
know?
I don't know. I don't even know if I like it. I like the songs, but you know, I'm not sure if I'm ready to release it. If I'm
That's
comfortable enough to
that's
release it.
fair. That's fair. Um, yeah. Okay, what else you got? What other
Oh no, I mean I'm
Feeling
good.
good, man. Feeling good. Let's go to recommendation corner. Talk about what we were listening to. Um, I was on. I've got a poll up right now on Twitter. Who do you prefer, 112 or Jagged Edge? I was I was rocking Jagged Edge today.
Yeah, gotta be Jagged Edge on that one.
I was rocking Jagged Edge, and I was fucking the Rap Music Plug podcast Discord. I was holding the voice note, just singing Jagged Edge randomly to the Discord. I wasn't even engaged in the conversation. Just a bunch of people talking about rap music, and then me singing "Let's Get Married." It was fucking funny, and because I'm there all the time, no one thought it was weird. Um, but yeah, and I gave full permission. Use it if you want it. If you're on the RPP Discord, put that on your album. You have my full permission.
Say
Not embarrassed
less.
by any means. But it's important for Kay to know this, right?
Okay.
Because Kay loves Saba's Care for Me album,
Hmm.
and it made him dislike that other album.
Yeah.
His Saba just dropped an album
Hmm.
yesterday, produced by No ID,
Yeah,
Oh wow.
and
Okay, that came out yesterday. That came out. Oh wow. Okay. All right. I'm
it
definitely checking that.
is magnificent. Magnificent.
man. Stop. Definitely cold. Yeah.
I put I started putting the videos on for my son because I was like, if you like Kendrick, there's no reason you shouldn't fuck with Sam.
None whatsoever.
No reason. And he was like, man, he kind of sounds like him. I'm like, dog, this guy has been mixtaping back 2012. Like, this guy, I trust me. He didn't hear Kendrick and go, that's my ticket. Like,
Hmm.
so
Facts.
yeah, giving him the right information there. Pivot Gang. So like that album is stupendous. And people should check it out. Um, the I guess I should also just, you know, shout out the latest, greatest on of that series with Griffin that you've been doing custom. Uh, it's Effortless Pen 2, which is
Yeah,
a fantastic project. Um,
awesome.
so yeah, grab
Yes.
all that.
Shout out to Griffin, man. Shout out to Griffin, man. He's
Big shout out to Griffin, man. OG.
yeah, he's been in the rap game for a long time and he's just been killing it. And it was cool that he gave me an opportunity to work with him and it's just been love. Like Q, he's very he knows, he knows what he likes, he knows what he wants, and he gets in the booth and does his thing and very easy to work with. Yeah, like it I know that he's got a lot of music in the chamber and he's very methodical with the way he releases things, but it was interesting to see how he worked and how he put together his catalog and like how he structured everything between Effortless Pen 1 and 2 and the amount of people that he has connected me with, to like work on other projects and stuff. Shout out to Tweak G. It's crazy, man. And like the stuff that he's shared with like, with Scarface and, with Trackster and stuff and like, getting like a long distance hello from them. It's just been love, man. Like, Griffin's a good dude and, I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, it's great. And my third, I guess, would be Premrock. Did you enjoy your time here? Backwoods Studios. Man, a dense, beautiful rapping ass album. It's coming out this Friday, so you'll already have it by the time this drop. But yeah, those are my three that I would stick with. Custom, what have you been bumping? What have you been listening to recently?
To be honest, like I don't listen to a lot of hip hop because I don't want to get influenced. But I do listen to like it's weird, man. People are gonna like
No,
look at
go
me
for
weird.
it.
But I listen to like a lot of uh I guess like Spanish alternative rock, and then I get into a lot of Japanese music. I don't know what the fuck they're saying, but the vibes are just dope, like
Yeah.
and then one thing that I've just been completely hooked on because it kind of gives me inspiration. There's a YouTube channel called Colors, and
Yeah.
they showcase artists from all over the world. And yeah, man, like I find out about new music that way because I've never heard of them. And a lot of these international artists, they're on a whole different wavelength, man. It's not anything remotely close to what I do. Um, a lot of it isn't hip hop, and if it is hip hop, it's different. It's not anything that I've heard in a long time, or it's unique as its own thing. And then I just go from there, discovering like different genres of music and artists. And a lot of the music that I listen to now is because of that YouTube channel, Colors. So yeah, shout out to Colors, man.
Do you
They be
have, do you, in terms of the Spanish speaking alternative rock, do you have an album that you could give people to check?
well, not
Anything?
necessarily an album because like I'm starting to get familiar with them, but there is like a group that I kind of enjoy talking to or like listening to, and I've actually reached out to them, but they left me on red, sad face. But like I actually wanted to. I like the girl's voice; she knows how to sing, and I tried my best to like try to get in contact with her people because I feel like I can make something different, and like I think she would be awesome on it. But it was yeah, it was a negative. But yeah, let me bring up the name of the album because it's a little out there in
Yeah.
Spanish, and I don't want to torture it.
Oh, I hear
Uh,
you. I hear
give
you.
me 1 second, but it is. How did I say this? La Mortilla.
Because I need some shit that is not hip hop sounding like everything else is. Um, you know, it's
Yeah. So the sorry, my bad. I got a little distracted. So the name of the group is Karen y los Remedios, and the album is called Silencio.
Hmm.
All right, and then yeah, that definitely dope, man. Like caught my ear. And guess where I listened? Guess where I heard that? It wasn't from Colors, but when my old ass, I was in the office of my chiropractor. They had that playing in the background. I'm like, yo, this shit's
dope.
fire. But yeah, that definitely, I definitely,
Awesome.
that
Oh,
I definitely,
the other one I
yes.
wanted to shout out, by the way, was West Side Gun 12.
Mm,
I kind of checked out of West Side Gun for a while.
Mm.
Uh, I was like, I don't know. He felt more like a ringmaster than anything else, right? He was putting together stuff, but I didn't feel like the rapping was there. But 12 is real good. So
I'm about to check it out.
yeah,
oh wow, that's crazy. Cool. I'll take a look. I'll take a listen.
12 is real good. But yeah, Solar, what have you been rocking with?
Um, Asha Omega, the star. Asha's one of the dopest out. Love her music. I've also been listening to Can't Buy Deems mixtape, DVD, CDs, DVDs, and Loose Squares Volume 2. Uh, Hosted by DJ Hosonomics. Fire. I got production on there too. Um, what else? I haven't really been listening to a lot of new things. Um, I don't listen to a lot of new music. I listen to a lot of old music. I
Mm,
feel like just because I wasn't alive during some of my favorite periods in music. I tend to go back a lot. So like
mm.
I've been listening to Philadelphia Freeway nonstop. Like I had just graduated eighth grade, I think, when that dropped.
Yeah,
So I wasn't too. I couldn't relate to the stories just yet. Um, Going through what I've went through now, like Philadelphia Freeway, it was always a favorite back then, but like now I understand that shit, and that shit is just like
yeah. And
super cold.
I'll tell you what changed with my relationship with that is that like I think when I was younger, and I see that my son going through this now, he's looking for stars, right?
Mhm.
He's looking for the stars he needs to know, right? He's listening to Jay-Z, he's listening to Kendrick, all that. And I think when Freeway came out, I was like, this guy's good and he's workmanlike, but I'm looking for stars. And as my intelligence has grown in this thing, I've learned to appreciate that shit. Like
Mhm.
that whenever I hit play on Freeway, I'm getting Freeway. You know what I mean? Um, and that's been a big part of that growth. Mega. Give me what was the Mega?
Asha Omega,
How do you spell this?
ASHAOMEGA, Asha Omega, the star. I got production on that one too, so I'm a little biased, but I like I heard Asha rapping immediately, like went in and started making beats. Like Asha's super fucking fire.
That's dope. The other one I was going to ask you about is Jazz Star.
Yo, Jazz Stars. First off, shout out my creative agency on social aesthetics. So that's how I met Jazz Star. Um, Jazz Star is, when I say, one of the most versatile artists. Period. Her
Woo!
voice is amazing.
Yeah.
Singing voice is amazing. Can do anything, but can also rap that ass off. Like out rap a lot of people,
Yeah.
and it has message. Jazz Star is like, I can't wait for her project to drop. Like I just can't wait for it to
I
drop.
I I heard her she sings on this one, right? And then
Hmm.
I was looking up videos to show my son, and we found the One Love joint.
Yeah,
And I was like, and he was like, who is this? And I was like, it's Jazz Star. And I gotta ask Solar about
Asha Omega too. So that's Asha's song.
yeah.
One Love is Asha's song. So yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah. So I was like, I gotta learn more about this. And he's like, yeah, you might have to talk to these people. Like,
yeah,
it's,
for real.
so shout out to that. Keep me appraised of all that. I got to dig into this Asha Omega album. I'm excited for it. Kay, what are you rocking?
Yeah, I mean, nothing new this week, but you guys gave me some good recommendations to check
Ooh,
out. So
I'm excited for you to hear that Saba.
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
Excited. I think you'd be excited. Yeah. Thank you for sparing the time and kicking it with us.
yeah,
Uh,
no doubt. Thank you for having us, man.
this has
Yeah.
been
Thank
fabulous.
Yeah,
you.
And
greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, man.
yeah, no, we'll help the people understand this project, and still be bumping it and talking about it mid-year, year end. So
Yes, sir.
yep, thank you for the people investing in us, uh, investing in this musical environment. Um, yeah, support um, people that aren't dickheads.
What will tomorrow bring? What will tomorrow